Hi, my name is Robert Shelley with Shelley Law, and my law firm assists physicians with employment contract and independent contractor agreement issues. Today I'm going to talk about the average RVU compensation for a general surgeon. So first, let's talk briefly about how physicians are compensated via RVUs, more specifically wRVUs. So if you are under a RVU compensation model, you very likely work for a hospital or employed through a health network of some kind. Most privately owned physician groups do not use RVUs as compensation. They utilize either just a straight base salary or perhaps net collections. But essentially the Center for Medicare Services, CMS, issues a list each year which kind of has a value associated with each encounter. And so you will generate more RVUs based upon the acuity and length of the session with the patient. And then you multiply that number by what's called a compensation factor. So it's just like a monetary amount, which varies based upon specialty. And so you just multiply the RVUs generated times the compensation factor, and that would be how much you make. Now, how exactly the model is calculated varies pretty drastically from employer to employer. Most of the time what will happen is if let's just say you're new to a hospital, you'll usually have a guaranteed amount for the first year or two, and then they will transition you into an RVU model, and they'll essentially take a base draw, so you'll get like a regular amount in your paycheck, usually around 80% of what you are making under the guaranteed minimum. And then if you hit a certain threshold, either monthly, quarterly, yearly, whatever, then they'll have what's called a reconciliation, where they will then, let's say, I'm just using this as an example, let's say you're supposed to generate 5,000 RVUs a month, and then 500 RVUs a month. And then any RVU over 500 per month would be multiplied times the compensation factor. And then that's what you would make. Now, let's talk specific numbers. Now, one, RVU compensation factor varies based upon geography. So where you are, and then the setting as well, either private practice or hospital. As I said before, in this specialty, it's mostly hospital based. But let's just give some numbers. So the median RVUs generated for a hospital employed general surgeon is around 6,800 per year. And then the average compensation factor would be about $59. Now, obviously, these vary. This is based upon some, industry recognized services, but it's not gospel, and the sample size can vary year to year, meaning it's, I think, more accurate some years than others. But those are the basic numbers. So think of it this way: if the average production is 6,800, and you're being compensated purely on RVUs, but your comp factor is, let's say the expectation of your work RVUs is the median, but then you're being paid based upon the 25th percentile. Well, that's a problem that you need to remedy. So you need to bump up the comp factor to at least the median amount. And then same thing if you're in the 75th percentile, or you're expected to produce in the 75th percentile, well, you should be paid in the 75th percentile as well. In this case, that'd be around $73 to $75 per RVU. So that's kind of a brief breakdown of RVU compensation for general surgeons. Is one model better than another? It really depends upon the setting. The work RVU of the physician, when people are, when healthcare started utilizing RVUs decades ago, at least as far as compensation, the thought was, well, the productivity will kind of spur on the physician to be incentivized to work more. And yes, in some cases, there are physicians who need that. But a lot of the time, it's out of the hands of the physician. it could be based upon the volume. Is there a need for the services in the community? How efficient, like in clinic, how efficient is the office in rooming the patients and taking the HFP and getting the surgeon in and out to meet with them? And then the same for OR time. So you need to make certain, if you're moving into a new position, that they are appropriately staffed and they are able to efficiently assist you, so that you can produce as much as possible. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at the contact information listed below in the description. And if you leave a comment, I'm happy to answer it. And I appreciate you watching the video. Thank you.